My name is Alysia Bertlesman. I work with Cassie Argenbright, Dr. Perry Fuchs, and Christopher Malaya. Our research is comparison of student, provider, and patient perceptions of care utilizing the biopsychosocial model of pain. The BPS model states that pain emerges from a dynamic interplay between biological, psychological, and social factors that vary from individual to individual. What this means is each person's pain experience is completely unique. Pain research in the past was focused solely on the biological level, the discovery of how nerves transmit information to the different types of pain receptors, and more recently, the gate control theory discovered by Dr. Melzack. Now we have a better understanding of pain, that it is much more than just a biological phenomenon. People experiencing pain can also experience anxiety, depression, fatigue, social isolation, and so much more, which can in turn alleviate or exacerbate the initial pain response. This study aims to appraise the BPS model and how it addresses possible differences in interpretations of a patient's pain experience as it relates to the treatment of musculoskeletal injuries. Providers are taught the model and use it to enact treatments, all the while assessing how those treatments are affecting patients on a biological, psychological, and social level. This study was ran at Parker University's chiropractic clinic in conjunction with the UTA Department of Psychology. Participants were current patients of the chiropractic clinic, as well as chiropractic students in their 8th or 9th trimester, which just means they're about to graduate and become full-fledged chiropractors. Surveys were either emailed to patients or they could scan a QR code in the clinic when they presented for their appointment. All data was anonymized and no identifiable info was collected, but data was taken on socioeconomic status and demographics, as well as general pain history, with patients reporting pain within the week, pain within the past 3 months, and pain within the past 6 months, and providers providing an average assessment of their patient's pain. It also included BPS relevant questions like the likelihood of recovery, perceived sense of control over life and injury, relevant comorbidities, and whether these were addressed during their sessions. We currently have 11 patient responses as well as 23 provider responses. All of our data is analyzed using SPSS. And now if we direct our attention over to our results column, we can see that independent sample t-tests were ran, comparing provider perception versus patient perception of pain. As seen on the chart, patient perception this week compared to provider, it was a p-value of 0.003. At 3 months, it is less than 0.001, while at 6 months, it is 0.083. What this just means is that the perceptions between patients and providers for a week and 3 months tended not to be significant, and so they were not similar as compared to 6 months when perceptions tended to align a little bit more. If we go down to the bottom of our column, we have our comorbidities section, and you can see all the different comorbidities that may present along with pain and the differences between the patient and provider perception. Most notably, I would like to draw focus to depression, sleep disturbances, and none of the above, which tended to have a little bit bigger gap compared to the rest of them. Looking at the right side of our results column, we have our perceived likelihood of injury recovery. Overall, patients and providers tended to be pretty positive in their outlooks of injury recovery, with 64% of patients reporting that outlook was addressed by their provider and 87% of providers reporting they addressed outlook with their patients. We did get similar results for perceived control over life. However, only 27% of patients reported that agency was addressed by their provider, while 52% of providers stated they reported agency with their patients. Overall, patients tended to have a lot more of a positive outlook for their injury and the biopsychosocial models that are addressed. This may be in part to our limited sample size, but I expect a similar continued trend with ongoing data collection. I'd like to believe that patients want to have a positive outlook for their futures. We hope to take this data to help better inform healthcare providers about potential gaps in their application of the BPS model, as well as address differences in adequacy of care. Finally, we would love to use this data to address differences in affect, psychosocial function, and human performance based on specific pain types that present in a clinical setting. If you have any questions about my research, please feel free to leave a comment and I will get back to you. Thank you so much for your time.